Come on, you can do this.
Alright, the Reds, it's Talking Reds with me, Gareth Roberts. Got Rob Gutmann with me today. As ever, there's stuff to talk about. We're not talking about the derby anymore, that's done and dusted, but if you want that chat, it's there on the free show, it's there on the second look, it's there on the post-match pint. So podcast, video, writing on the website as well. But we're moving on now, we're looking forward. We've got Burnley at the weekend, we've got Munich next week. We're all looking forward to a nice trip to Germany. But before all that, Virgil van Dijk has won PFA Fans Player of the Month. Didn't even know that award existed.
LA. It's one in the bag already then.
He also won it in November. And Josh has put here on his agenda that he was man of the match on Sunday. Is he now also our most important player? Probably is, isn't he?
Yeah, just right now he is, because we don't score goals. It's nice to not let him in. I was saying this on a show the other day, what's mildly a heartbreaking subplot if we don't win the league is that Virgil doesn't win the league and might be player of the year and the best player in this country. He really deserves to be winning this league. I mean, we want to win the league, never mind Virgil, but still. It would be sad. And actually, I don't know when that's last happened, that the player's been footballer of the year and not been a champion. Can you remember, Gareth?
I don't know. I don't pay too much attention to the personal.
Well, that's why I can't remember.
Accolades. I mean, sometimes when like a player that you really, really love gets one, I guess you notice it, and that's probably why we're talking about this with Van Dijk, because who doesn't like Van Dijk?
Yeah.
I mean, where would you put him in terms of the centre halves you've ever seen play for Liverpool?
I haven't seen a better centre half than him. I thought I'd never see anything as good as Hansen or Lawrenson, because all the boys who've come since have been, like Jamie and Hoopier. Really, really good defenders, fantastic. Liverpool greats, but not as good as Hansen or Lawrenson. Probably quite a bit way short of being as good as Hansen or Lawrenson. Van Dijk, I think, is better than them. I just think he's perfect in every single way. Wish he was my dad. Well, I'm old enough to be his.
The other player as well, also scooping up some awards, is Allison. He's won Globe Soccer Goalkeeper of the Year.
Good. That's a big trophy to win at this stage.
He needs just 3 more clean sheets to break Pepe Reina's record of the most for any keeper in one Premier League season. The question Josh has put to us here as well is, where would we be without him and Van Dijk? I mean...
yeah, I know. Well, okay, we'd be okay. It does make... I mean, it's like saying, where would any good team be without their defence?
Yeah.
I mean, the reason we are 1 point off the pace with an incredible points total with just 9 points to play is because we've got a really good team. And part of having a really good team is having a really good defence. I mean, but for City being a fantastic football team as well, we'd have won this league by now. So where would we be without them? We'd probably be a few points worse off. And in an ordinary season, still very much in a title race.
The transformation's been remarkable though, hasn't it? Because normally you expect, and I think we always say it, not just us, everyone, that players need time to settle and all that kind of stuff. But with Allison, he's just come in and bar a couple of moments, Leicester being the obvious one, Leicester away.
Yeah,
he's been fantastic for us, hasn't he? And I think you can tell how much the players in front of him trust him. Same with Van Dijk as well. They're as well as how good they are as individuals and what they actually do on the pitch. Their very presence seems to lift everyone, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think with Alisson's an interesting one because he's not actually had to have many great games for Liverpool. I mean, De Gea at Man United, every other game there's a story about how De Gea saved their bacon, and he's saved 4 certain goals. Alisson doesn't have to do that for Liverpool. I mean, the last time I think we really came out of it going, oh, fucking hell, what we'd have done without him was Napoli, and that's well before Christmas. But, as you said, he just brings this calmness, doesn't he? I felt in Simon Mignolet's era that there was more wrong than you could just see on an error on a shot or a goal let in. It's the confidence or lack that the wrong goalkeeping spread, and he just spots danger so early. So you don't really notice the great thing. It'd be very hard to do a good YouTube comp of Allison, I think. And in fact, I didn't think there was great YouTube comps of him when he signed for us, when I was researching him, and I think we all were. And I now know why. Because he just gets everything before it's a problem.
I mean, the other effect of it is that is in the ground, isn't it? I mean, it's not that long ago when we did have Mignolet between the sticks that you could sense it every time there's a free kick or a corner. Everyone's just like, oh, and the cop literally made a collective noise like that on more than one occasion when the ball was coming near Mignolet. I mean, he was a keeper that I don't want to get stuck into him too much, but the one where he sort of lets it run out of play against Burnley, and you know, things like that, and you're just sort of looking at it going.
And the other fella, we've forgotten his name.
Karius.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just looking at those mistakes though and going, I can't really compute how you've made that. Do you know what I mean? How many times have you done that? And how's that happened? And I think Mignolet was quite upfront as well, wasn't he, about saying that he'd struggled at times mentally and stuff to cope with where he was, and he got back to a certain level. But Alisson's 3 or 4 notches above, isn't it?
Hasn't Mignolet said something about this? He's virtually conceded that Alisson's a different league from him. He gave somebody, I thought, fair enough, Simon. The thing about Mignolet, he actually comes across as a really decent bloke.
Yeah, he seems all right.
But I don't want you to play golf for us, Simon. I'm sure you do well elsewhere. Yeah, I mean, you know, you don't want to tempt fate by bigging up these players too much and then them cost us the league or something like that. But I'll tell you what, when you've got Allison and Van Dijk in front of him, actually now I'd say Fabinho as well, that is a spine. We've been a spineless football club in many senses for a long, long time. And even in the period when we say you go back 18 months and you go, oh, look at our front 3, front 4 with Coutinho and Salah and all that. You go, what a front 4, but no spine to that team. Now we've got a spine and a front 3.
And the other effect, like you said before, is that, you know, okay, people are fuming a little bit and worried about the draws that we've got recently, but quite easily in another season, had we not had that goalie, had we not had that centre half, they're defeats.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, they draws against big sides. Bayern Munich are no slouches. Man U on their own ground, they're not easy. And the derby is the derby. So, no, but you're right. I looked at that derby in the closing 20 minutes. You think, any other year, I'm going, shit, we are conceding. They're going to get the set pieces, and 2 or 3 of those set pieces are going to hang under our bar, and something's going to go in off somebody. Or if it isn't, I'm going to have 3 heart attacks before this is over. But you know what? Everton, you could see them begin to huff and puff, but nothing happened.
No,
it was all just snuffed out.
At the back, it was fairly comfortable. I mean, there's a couple of things kicking around as well. I seen Aldridge going back to Collymore about a column he'd done where he was basically saying Man City should come in for Van Dijk. Garth Crooks, as mad as he is, has done something a bit similar on the BBC where he's put Van Dijk in as sort of team of the week or whatever, but then he said, my concern, I'm sure you're really concerned, Garth, is that if Liverpool don't win the league, he goes to Barcelona or Real Madrid. Seems a bit early for all that chat, doesn't it?
Yeah. Firstly, he's not going. They wouldn't let him go even if he begged and screamed after 18 months. So that's not going to happen. The other thing is, I don't want to tempt fate, but if Van Dijk was made that way, he wouldn't have signed for us in the first place. I don't think. I mean, there were a number of suitors around Europe for him. You know, I know City came out of that documentary pretending they didn't want to spend 70 million on him, but considering they then spent 65 on the next fella. No one's going to tell me they didn't think he was worth 70 million. What would be interesting is what he'd actually be worth on the open market now. It'd be ridiculous money. 200 million, you'd be looking at to try for a centre half to tempt Liverpool, and I don't think they would be. The good thing about him is that, in a way, he's not 23 or 24. If we stay on course to being a competitive club, I think he finishes his career with us. I hope I'm right.
I hope you're right as well, mate. It's okay. Chamberlain is the other story off today. Chamberlain, there was talk of him playing in the under-23s derby last night. That didn't happen, but now apparently he will play against Derby County, that is, on Friday. I mean, he's finding his way back, and this will be I think it's his first game for something like 11 months or something like that. So there's a lot of sort of talk about having an impact on the first team and where will he fit in and what can he do. I think it's all a little bit hopeful, to be honest. I think if he's only just making his first steps to his first game and we're in March, and I don't think we're going to see too much of him, do you?
I mean, even if he doesn't have a secondary injury, and that's really, you know, the odds are you do get, especially a player like him, he's had lots of secondary injuries after big injuries at Arsenal. But even if he doesn't, he's going to have to play 3 or 4 times at under-23 level before they even give him a sniff of the substitutes bench. If it goes according to plan for him, I could see him being, there's an international break in the way, I could see him being on the bench for, say, that Southampton game. Is it the 5th of April?
Friday.
Yeah, the 5th of April. I could see that happening, Gareth, you know. But that's for me the thing. He's got to have the luck with injury. But when can he start? He'll have 10-minute cameos for a month before so he'd be lucky to start a game, I think, before the end of the season.
I mean, when he was at his best, he was very high octane anyway, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Sort of everyone's talked about how we're missing his drive from midfield and that sort of stuff. So, you know, his game is built on something that's going to take a lot out here as well.
Yeah. I think there may be, look, if the title race stays tight, he may have a couple of adrenaline-rushed sub appearances in him for us that may do something sensational when we go, oh, the Ox won us the title. I'd love something fairy tale like that to happen.
Great,
yeah, I do think he can play a part, although it's going to have to be a sort of a cameo of sorts.
We'll wait and see on that one then. That's all the Liverpool stuff. Anfield Wrap wise, Anfield Wrap are coming to Ireland. We've mentioned that a few times, between the 23rd and the 25th of March. Portlaoise, Dublin and Galway. The links have been tweeted out loads of times on the Anfield Wrap, so have a look at the Anfield Wrap on Twitter if you're interested in those dates. And the tickets are nearly sold out. Links will be in the description, it says here as well, so you don't even have to go over to Twitter. On the Anfield Wrap's tour player today, there is a coach home show and a lower league show. As I mentioned before as well, loads of content around the derby, looking at what went right, what went wrong and everything else. The usual stuff, the free show, the review show and everything else. So check out the website, theanfieldwrap.com. That's been Talking Reds for today. We'll be back tomorrow. Up the Reds.